Welcome to Catholic Life as we spotlight ordinary people with extraordinary faith. I am Dina Dow, your host for this half hour, and I'm really thrilled personally and spiritually to introduce you to Terry Bellon, who is soon to be Deacon Terry Bellon. I think when this show airs, your ordination will be like that Saturday, August 12th. So welcome to Catholic Life. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. This is a pleasure.
You're welcome. We are going to talk about the permanent diaconate during this show and a little bit about Terry's testimony, and then the details of the permanent diaconate and what you experienced, and if someone's discerning, what they would expect, and then kind of how to walk through that discernment. So I love the description of the roles of the permanent deacon, ministers of the word, sacramental ministry, and then charity. So we'll kind of get into all of that. But before that, we're going to talk about you. How did you get to be in this chair today? You're probably like, I'm ordering the same thing, Dina.
Yeah, it's been a long journey.
Yeah.
I just turned 60 last week, and it is not where I saw myself at this stage of my life. I come into this just within a state of gratitude. I grew up in a small South Louisiana town. I was the oldest of 4 kids, and our mom passed away when I was 11. And we were raised by our grandmother. We were very poor. We lived in a small town. She always made sure we went to church. We walked to church. It was right across the street. Growing up, as the oldest, I was kind of the leader of the family. My grandmother turned towards me whenever there were decisions to be made for my younger siblings.
Wow.
Like it or not.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've always kind of been in a servant leadership, servant role. And then I guess because of that is why I went in to nursing. It was sort of like a natural progression for me.
That provider, that caregiver, that nurture role.
Yep.
Yeah, so you became a nurse.
Yep. I became a nurse at from Our Lady of the Lakes College of Nursing before it was brand new.
Yeah.
So I'm an alum there. And been taking classes in the same buildings that I took classes in nursing school at. But yeah, I think that's what called me to go into the nursing field too, was just to serve people. And then as I got older, I feel so incredibly blessed. I mean, I've had a great life, and I wanted to do more. I wanted to do more for the Lord, and in gratitude for everything that's been given to me. And lots of time in adoration, pondering that and asking the Lord, what is it that you wanted me to do? And it wasn't until I had on a few separate occasions, I had people asking me, have you ever thought about being a deacon? And, it's like, no, but that planted a seed, and so then I started exploring it.
And you're married to Judy. How long have you guys been married now?
We've been married 32 years.
Yeah, with Cole and Brock, your sons. Yeah, so you've had a very robust and, exciting family life too along your journey in nursing. Where did your nursing career take you? Did you start in a hospital or in a center?
I started at the lake. But I only worked at the lake for about a year. And then I went to work for a kidney dialysis company here in Baton Rouge. It's called Fresenius Medical Care. And I've been with them for 28 years. Yeah. I'm the senior director of operations now for about 28 different clinics in South Louisiana.
Yeah, and that's a specialty in and of itself, because you're talking home care, hospital care, and it's international too, right?
It is,
Yeah, so I know you've traveled after disasters.
Yeah. I'm
to
on
make
a
sure.
disaster relief team for the company.
Yeah. So you're not just planted in an office
No.
all day. And Judy's a nurse too. Your wife is a nurse as well too.
Yeah.
So seemingly, like within the whole family, there's that kind of caregiver compassion, which I can testify to that for them for sure. So you had people kind of planting seeds about, hey, have you ever thought about being a deacon? And when did you finally talk to Judy and say, I think I'm thinking about this permanent diaconate?
Yeah, I guess it was, about 6 years ago. So the new program had just started, really. And Father Jamin was having some discernment sessions that started in January of 18, I guess. Yeah, January of 18. And so it was like once a month or every few weeks, men that were interested in going into the diaconate could go. And he had different people come in to talk about different aspects of diaconate. And, it is really just to kind of show you that this is what it's like. This is what the path is. This is the role of the deacon. And so from there, there were probably the very first discernment session, 10 or 12 men there discerning it. And then we got down to 4.
Yeah.
And then the 4 of us started classes that fall.
Wow. What led to that? What did you do in your ministry experience at church? Like what was your involvement and your commitment at the parish?
Well, so I've been at St. Thomas More for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
And I was involved in a lot.
Choir. I think that's the first time
I was in the choir.
Yeah.
Yes, I was a Eucharistic minister. And then I chaired the St. Thomas More Festival in 2002, which was, 23 years ago, which I can't believe. Just different aspects. I was on the pastoral council, on the school board for the school. It's just different aspects. I was always very, very involved in that parish.
Yeah. And I guess along that time too, if you're looking back, those times probably prepared you for the decisions and the discernment that you were making. But you have taken some pilgrimages too,
yes. Especially
to Medjugorje. I know you've been there quite often. Tell us a little bit about those experiences and how that has touched you in your life.
Yeah, so I went to Medjugorje for the first time in 2009 with Father Mark Beard. And then he and I have returned many times. I think last May we probably went for the 10th time. Wow. It's just a special place that I keep returning to. The first time I went, I remember distinctly kneeling in front of the statue of Mary at the top of Apparition Hill. And I made a promise that I would keep coming and I would bring people with me. And so I've been doing that since then. It is a blessing to go. People go and they see the miracle of the sun, the sun spinning or their rosaries turn gold. I've never had anything like that happen to me. But I've seen things happen to other people, and I've seen people's lives changed. And to me, that's the miracle that I get, is witnessing people's lives being changed. So it's beautiful. And then I'm going back in November with Father Paul Yee.
Are you?
Yeah, so we're taking a group.
After
ordination. So I'm really looking forward to participating in Mass and serving at Mass in the sanctuary in Medjugorje.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because there's usually 20 or 30 priests and deacons that serve at the Masses, and so I'll be able to be up there with them.
Okay, that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the diaconate formation. If someone's interested or they just don't know anything about it, talk about that experience. You had mentioned that the formation process has changed, and it used to be that formation came through St. Joseph's Seminary College pre-formation. Right. and now with Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady University, FRIENU, here in the Diocese of Baton Rouge. Our deacons have formation there. So you're back in the classroom, college level classes, and ironically or not, back where you studied nursing. So how was that experience for you? I mean, the professors are brilliant. Yes. And they're merciful, but they're tough too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it was. It was a challenge. We were 4 men in our 50s, going back to college. And what felt very much like graduate level courses.
Yeah.
Although, some of it, intro to theology, was not. But we had 4 primary theology professors there at FRIENU that weren't just professors. They didn't just teach the courses. They're all Catholic men, fathers, who walk the walk, talk the talk. And they were amazing. I mean, just inspirations, and just some of the classes, you're just like, you sit there and listen to someone like Dr. Brian Pedraza, and it's like, gosh, I hope I can have that faith.
Yeah, you want to grow up and be like Dr. Pedraza, who's in his 40s.
Yeah. No, it was a great experience. But it was jumping into lots of reading and writing and test taking, being in classes with, especially our first couple of years, we had classes with what they called the undergrads.
Yeah.
So they were either nursing students or working on theology degrees. And at first it was like, I don't know. These kids are 19, 20 years old, and they're on a different on a different wavelength than I am. But we developed a really good relationship with some of those students, and they started calling us the deacon dads. So we still have a good relationship with them. In fact, there's one of them we've asked to read our second reading at our ordination, and another one, and her husband, who were both in some of our classes, are going to bring up the gifts during ordination.
That's beautiful. Yeah. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the formation process and the different areas of formation outside of intellectual that's focused on. And then we'll also talk about what's next for Deacon Terry Bellon, which is so great to say, by the way. Stay with us. We'll be right back in just a minute.
We are the fog on your glasses. We are the cup to go at breakfast. We are the answer to your deadline. We are closing the deal. But more than anything, we are never being out of coffee ever again. Never. We are River Road Coffees, and we're ready to prove that our coffee is better than whatever coffee you're drinking at the office. Call us today for a side-by-side taste test so you can get powered by River Road Coffees.
Welcome back to Catholic Life as we spotlight ordinary people with extraordinary faith. I'm Dina Dow here with Deacon Terry Bellon, who is newly ordained. By the time this show airs, you will be pretty much almost ordained to the permanent diaconate here in the Diocese of Baton Rouge. So we were talking about your formation, and there's like 4 different, I would call, areas of formation that are focused on in the diaconate. So you have the intellectual, which we're talking about, the academics, the human formation, spiritual, and then pastoral. So how did those all kind of come into like intersecting during your formation?
Yeah, one of the great things about the program that Father Jamin and Dr. Whidden put together was they gave us many opportunities just besides sitting in the classroom. Yeah. We did work with St. Vincent de Paul. They exposed us to prison ministry. In the third summer that you're in the program, you get assigned to a parish for the summer, and it's more of like a pastoral care assignment where you do have an opportunity to serve at the parish, but also you have opportunities to teach. So they require us to teach to adults, to children. The pastor can pick a topic for us to present and who we present to, and then we can pick something ourselves. So that they've exposed us to a lot of different things. One of the courses that we take is pastoral care. So it wasn't as much as a academic course, and that course was just deacon candidates. It didn't have undergrad students in it. And Deacon Dan Barnett taught that class to us last year. But he brought in different people from the diocese to come in and speak to us. I think he brought you in to speak to us one day, just to talk about all the different pastoral aspects that are out there in parish life. And then we had opportunities to go out and do some of those things. And then in the fourth year, Father Tom Ranzino teaches liturgy. And so that's another class that was just deacon candidates, but we went, just a semester of going through liturgy, and not just studying it, but practicing it too. We would go to different churches and practice doing baptisms, practice doing marriage ceremonies. We practiced all the different liturgies that we'll be participating in.
Yeah. See, if volunteers ever come and you would like pretend.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the way to learn it, right?
Yeah. Father Tom has a little baby that we baptized.
Okay, that's great. That's great. When did so that kind of covers the notion of liturgy, like service to the Word, ministry to sacraments. And then the prayer life too, because that was something very important. I know liturgy of the hours is very important in the life of a deacon. Was that something that you had already established in your prayer life, or was something that you had to learn?
That's something I had to learn.
Yeah.
So deacons are required to do morning prayer and evening prayer, and so that was something that we had to get into. I was more someone that I have a strong devotion to the Mary and the Rosary. So adding that in was a learning curve at the beginning. And just learning how to use the breviary.
Yes. Yeah.
And moving the ribbons and finding your way through it. But there's some great apps that that can help you with that.
And they're like, don't use the app. You have to use the book.
I try to use the book.
Yeah. So you have more contemplative, and devotional. So introducing liturgy of the hours, which is the prayer of the church, the entire church, is something beautiful. I always skip and just read the office of the readings because that's, I love hearing the word from our church fathers and church doctors. So the ministry of charity too, during that time, you said you visited St. Vincent de Paul, the prison ministry, so you kind of had an introduction to a lot of the areas of charity in the diocese. Anything impressionable upon you that you learned that you didn't quite know about before at that time?
Yeah, I mean, like Catholic Charities, I mean, they do so much. And then each parish has someone that kind of directs charitable works at each parish that I had no idea that those things went on, that people contact the church and say, look, I have this need, and they help them find it. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, and then we all have to pick a charity, or we're assigned a charity that we're going to work with, and I'm going to be co-chaplain with Billy Francione of an apostolate called Encourage. And Encourage is for parents, family members of children that have same-sex attraction or fall into that LGBTQ category. And it's just a safe place for parents to come and sit in a circle and just talk about their journey, what they're feeling. It's not a place where we give advice or anything like that. It's just to listen, and it's a safe place for them to just come and have a place for people to listen to them.
Yeah, and that's kind of an accompaniment to the Courage Ministry, who ministers to those that are experiencing the same gender attraction.
Right.
And so Encourage is for families, you're saying,
families.
to give support and how they can accompany and be accompanied themselves with questions and listenings. Yeah, that's a fairly new ministry
and
in the diocese.
We meet once a month. We have a page on the diocese website that can give more information. And then the parishes are going to be receiving some communication about our monthly meetings and about Courage's monthly meetings, because they're also meeting once a month.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's a wonderful gift for you guys to do that too. You also have permanent assignments, because when you become an ordained deacon, you're assigned to a parish and your duties are fulfilled there. So you'll be
I'll be at St. George.
St. George Catholic Church, which is where I think you did your internship.
I did my internship at St. George.
I guess they liked you. Yeah.
I guess. I think the Blessed Mother had her hand in getting me there. Father Paul Yee told me, he said, I didn't request a deacon. And he said, I didn't know I was supposed to. He said, I think that, the Blessed Mother wanted you here. So, but I have loved being there for the last year, and I'm really looking forward to increasing my ministry and growing in that ministry at St. George.
Yeah. What have you been doing there? You work full time, so you have a full time job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I serve at Mass a lot, and sometimes I give spiritual reflections, or maybe on the reading of the day. I have assisted at funerals and convalidations, and I get to assist at baptisms, because those are all things that I'll be able to do as a deacon. So it's given me a lot of exposure and experience in doing those different things.
So thinking about 6 years ago when the seed was planted, because the permanent diaconate is 5 years of formation.
Right.
So thinking about 6 years ago when you started your discernment retreats into today, is it what you anticipated or expected, or is it more maybe?
Oh, I guess 6 years ago I didn't know what to expect. I took it one semester at a time. I didn't even know what classes I would have the next semester. I just took it one semester at a time and just focused on that. I will say that, the three other guys that went through formation with me in the last 5 years, we're just not classmates and brother deacons, but we're brothers. We have supported each other, been there for each other. In my first year of formation, I was in a freak accident that left me in a wheelchair for 3 months, and I wouldn't have made it without them. And without the cooperation of Dr. Whidden and Fran Yu and Father Jamin, they said, don't worry about school, don't worry about this, just take care of yourself right now. and they let me work through that, and it was a beautiful thing. But yeah, my three brothers that are in my class with me, we really are family, and we've pulled each other through all this.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitively see the permanency in that too, as well too, and you're not alone. I mean, and not only you guys are close, but your families are close too, which is the bigger blessing. So in the last couple of minutes we have left, if someone is viewing this or wants to share it with someone about the permanent diaconate, and somebody's been planting seeds or has received the seeds, like, what do you advise them to do next step? If somebody feels called to the permanent diaconate, a gentleman is out there, what would you tell them?
I tell them to contact Father Paul Gross, because he's a director of the diaconate formation now. And he will, in January, will start having discernment classes for anyone that's interested in looking into it. It's not a commitment. It's, it's just, you're just discerning. The whole process is discernment.
Right.
You can decide in the last year that, that this isn't for me.
Yeah.
But, that's the way to start, and to talk to one of us. If you see a deacon at Mass, just, pull us aside and say, hey, I've thought about this. And, can you tell me a little bit about it? And we'd love to sit down and talk to anyone about it. It's a beautiful program. It's a challenge. It's not easy. But if it's something that you feel that God is calling you to, then it's definitely something you should look into.
Well, I'm super grateful for your answering yes to the call, and very excited for you and for Judy too as well. Mostly excited for our diocese, with this group of deacons that are being ordained. So thanks so much for everything that you've done, and for friendship, but mainly just for what I would say is your prayerful dedication to serving our Lord Jesus. Yeah, I've seen that in you for a long time. Terry's like, you can stop complimenting me now. But thank you so much. And if anybody wants information on the Encourage Ministry, there's a place on the website for that too, Dawson website. And also to the Deacon Life. Just go to the Dawson website and look under vocations, and you'll see the role of the deacon. So thanks again. Good luck. Our prayers are with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being with us on Catholic Life. Until next time, may God bless you and grant you his peace.